Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and today I'm just be officially updating you on some more transfer rumours and gossip. So if you do consider drop your likes, and if you do consider subscribe to the channel as always. So just going to give you some news regarding Jadon Sancho, and there is lots of other things to currently talk about. So according to the mainstream media recently, we are regarded as the favourites to sign Jadon Sancho next year, because reportedly Jadon Sancho wants out of the Borussia Dortmund next summer. There isn't only Manchester United that were in for him, there's quite a few other clubs in for him. Don't forget, Liverpool are interested in him. I think PSG are also interested, and so too Real Madrid. We are more aware that, if we had to go in for Jadon Sancho next year, that obviously, he is going to cost the club a substantial amount. I do believe we'll have to pay in the excess of around £100 million. But, we have been long admirers of Jadon Sancho. Don't forget, we went in for him during the course of the summer. Also, we identified him as our number one priority target back in January. But I think our move got screwed for Jadon Sancho with our failure to qualify for the Champions League. Now, Jadon Sancho has been a revelation. Revelation in Germany. Since revelation in Germany, since joining from Man City back in 2017. Jadon Sancho now is into his third season with Borussia Dortmund. In total in the Bundesliga, he has now made 55 appearances and scored around 16 goals. In all competitions, he has made around 74 appearances. Obviously, Borussia Dortmund basically got him for next to nothing. Borussia Dortmund only paid around £7 or £8 million for him from Manchester City. But obviously, analysing his performances in the couple of years and that he has been with Dortmund, obviously, his valuation has persistently grown, and he is under contract with Borussia Dortmund still until 2022. Jadon Sancho is primarily a right winger, but he can also play him centrally. He is only 19 years of age. And again, my overarching view on it all, I think, Jadon Sancho would be the right calibre player for Manchester United. He's a player that can score goals, he can create chances, he's good on and off the ball. And I think, I would be excited about the prospect of him, playing alongside the likes of Rashford, Daniel James and Anthony Martial in our attacking line. But yeah, a very, very good player. The reason that he obviously left Man City, he was only at Manchester City a couple of years, because obviously Man City couldn't show him first team opportunities. So this is the reason he departed to join Borussia Dortmund. To be honest with you, I don't see how he would fit Liverpool's system. I think he perfectly fit Man United's system. But obviously, some people would believe that it would be crazy Jadon Sancho to join us over Liverpool anywhere. But yeah, at first he was unsure about his future, but now reportedly he does want out Borussia Dortmund next summer. So that's the latest news regarding Jadon Sancho. But like I mentioned to you yesterday, there's a lot of players on our current agenda. I think we need at least 5 to 6 more signings, if we are to be back to being a competitive elite level football club. Maybe, we may even need more than that. But Solskjaer has been assured that he will be given money to spend next year. I think over the course of the next couple of windows, at least, obviously, our recruitment has got to improve, because analysing our recruitment not only recently but for several years it has been very, very poor. So I do believe we're orchestrating on spending a substantial amount next year in the next couple of windows. I think at an estimated guess, we're orchestrating on spending from maybe 200 to 250 million pounds. Recruiting more players. But, we spent a substantial amount during the course of the summer. We spent nearly £150 million, on Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and on Harry Maguire. And like I mentioned, they've all enjoyed fantastic starts to their Manchester United careers. But I think from my own perception, we'll do the vast majority of our transfer business next summer anyway. So I think we'll look to sign one or two players in January. But yeah, definitely a massive rebuild is needed at the football club, and you can still see the deficiencies in the squad. There's two priority areas, where Manchester United need to strengthen up. We definitely need a midfielder. A lot of people believe actually, we need two midfielders, but we've definitely got to recruit a replacement for Ander Herrera. We also need a striker. Some people believe we need two strikers, but we definitely need someone. We need to recruit a replacement for Romelu Lukaku. We also need to recruit a replacement for Alexis Sanchez, because you can say since their departures, we have looked very exposed in that attacking line. But yeah, we definitely do need a striker. But yeah, like I said, there's still deficiencies in the squad that do need to be addressed. I think I was reading recent reports, and it did say that Solskjaer, could now consider changing his transfer strategy, next year. Obviously, his initial transfer strategies recruiting young British players and that, like he did do during the course of the summer. But yeah, like I said, I think there's around 5 or 6 players on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's agenda who is keen on recommending in to the football club next year. So obviously I give you the news, didn't I, regarding Erling Haaland yesterday. He's another one of the players that's on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's agenda. Reportedly, Solskjaer has instructed Manchester United to sign Erling Haaland. Again, I am probably aware that he is going to cost the club a substantial amount of money. I think reportedly, we'd have to pay in the region of around £80 million to him. I think the beneficial thing about recommending Erling Haaland in is that obviously, he's played under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's guidance during his short period with Mould. So Solskjaer obviously is keen on reuniting with the player. Obviously, he's been this season for Red Bull Salzburg. He's been a revelation for them. He's scored 26 goals in 18 games in all competitions. Obviously scored around 7 goals in the Champions League. So this season has been a prolific goal scorer, and he's only the age of 19. So he has still got a lot of years ahead of him. And I think if he came to Manchester United, he can replicate, what he has been doing with Red Bull Salzburg this season. So yeah, he's another one of the players on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's agenda. Obviously, I think it's very, very imminent in that we're going to sign Mario Mandzukic next year. I was reading recent reports yesterday, and it does now say that Mario Mandzukic has made a decision, and reportedly he's chosen to join Manchester United in January. But according to reports, if we can reach an informative agreement with Juventus before January, he could start training with Manchester United in December. Mario Mandzukic. I think he's a good replacement for Romelu Lukaku. Obviously, he isn't a long-term replacement, and that obviously, regarding his age, because, Mario Mandzukic is around 33 years of age now. He's 33 years of age, so you could say he's only got a couple of years left in his footballing career. And don't forget, we inquired about getting Mario Mandzukic towards the back end the summer transfer window and that, but obviously we didn't end up getting him. But the good thing is that he is a cheaper solution. I think we only have to pay around, is it 12 or 13 million pounds to get him in. I think it did say we're prepared to hand him around an 18-month contract. But reports said yesterday that the Juventus chief executive flown over to England to obviously hold negotiations with Man United. But Mario Mandzukic, his service to requirements to Juventus anywhere. Obviously since the recommendation of Maurizio Sarri. Mario Mandzukic has not played a single minute under Sarri's guidance. So he's initially lost his place in the team. He's now into his 5th season, I think, with Juventus. But for Juventus, he has scored 44 goals in 162 games in all competitions. So that's actually, very, very impressive. So if he comes to Man United, I think, he can replicate, what he's done and that with Juventus. But overall, he's had a very, very good career. But I do believe probably he's going to be my 4th signing overall under the Solskjaer era, and my first signing in December or January without a shadow of a doubt. But the good thing is, at least he can add more experience in our attacking line. At least he can show the likes of Daniel, James, Martial, and Marcus Rashford how to be more effective in the box. But I think he can definitely assure us goals. Can Mario Mandzukic? But yeah, it's looking likely he's going to be coming to Man United. I think also, a few other teams have been in for him. But my only element of concern about bringing him in, like I've mentioned to you on numerous occasions, is obviously, his age. That's the only element of concern. We've also got Moussa Dembele on our agenda again. I think he would be the right calibre player for Manchester United. Moussa Dembele, he's only the age of 23. He has still got a lot of development in him. I think, again, the beneficial thing about recommending Moussa Dembele is that obviously, he's played in the Premier League. Obviously, when he was younger, he played for Fulham. He actually began his senior career with Fulham. Obviously, after he left Fulham, he had a couple of years with Celtic, and then obviously after Celtic, he joined Lyon, and now he's currently in his 2nd season now with Lyon. But I think if he comes to Man United, he can replicate what he's done with all them teams. I'm aware again that he will cost the club a substantial amount. Maybe would have to pay in the excess of around 60 or 70 million pounds. But Lyon only paid around 20 million pounds from Celtic last summer. He's still got quite a few years left on his contract with Lyon. He's under contract with them until 2023. But he is an out-and-out number 9, and I think, he would be the right player for Man United. Like I said, there's quite a few midfielders on our agenda, as well as strikers. We've got Christian Eriksen. There's been a lot of rumours going on saying that we could go back in for him next year. I was reading reports last week, and it actually said we'd had negotiations with Christian Eriksen regarding a potential January transfer. It reportedly said we was orchestrating on bidding up to around 40 odd million pounds for the player. Obviously, Tottenham do know how much of an imperative player that Christian Eriksen is. But obviously, Tottenham do believe from their perspective that it would be beneficial to cash in for him in January rather than let him go on a free transfer at the end of the season, because Christian Eriksen has got under a year left on his current contract. But I still believe that Christian Eriksen wants out of Tottenham, like he did reveal at the start of the summer. I think he could still go to Real Madrid next year, because don't forget, during the summer Real Madrid were in for him. And we actually opted out of the race for Christian Eriksen, because obviously we during the summer, because we obviously felt as though that his preference was to make a move to Real Madrid. But again, I think he would be the right calibre player for Man United. He's primarily an attacking midfielder. He's well Premier League proven. He's been at Tottenham 6 years. This is now his 7th season there with Tottenham. I think he's nearly made 300 appearances for them in all competitions. And Tottenham only paid, was it just over 11 million pounds from Ajax, and he's 27. So he's still got a lot of years ahead of him. As Christian Eriksen, but he's actually spent the majority of his career with Tottenham. Obviously reflects on the number of years he has been there. But I'd love him at Manchester United. We could possibly reignite our interest in Bruno Fernandes, next year, because don't forget, during the course of the summer, he was one of our main priority targets. So there is a lot of current players on our agenda, but all players I've just mentioned to you, or if not all, the vast majority of them, I think would be the right calibre players for Manchester United. But I think it's very, very imperative next year that we do get the right calibre players to the football club, so we can, be a future title contenders. But like I said, it is a long process. But, Solskjaer, you can still say he's still in the process of rebuilding this Manchester United team, because analysing the vast majority of this team, it isn't Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's anywhere. There's only 3 players there that are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's, and that's obviously Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire. But obviously, the vast majority of this team is Jose Mourinho's, because Jose Mourinho recommended 11 players into the club. Now you can say Solskjaer is still inheriting the vast majority of them. But I did say, due to our inconsistency for the vast majority of this season, everyone, needs to take the blame and that. But I think the vast majority of the blame stems from the board and that. And even though, we have rejuvenated ourselves recently, I still believe we need to see a variety of changes in the football club, like I do keep mentioning. So I think we need to get rid of our current board, because I think the board have been a liability for several years, like I mentioned, and we need to recommend a new board in. I think also Ed Woodward replicates the board, and I think, we also need to get rid of him, because I just think he just doesn't have a clue how to, or he doesn't have a clue how to, oversee our transfer business and that. But he's been a liability for several years. I do believe Solskjaer does need to go, maybe not now, but maybe sometime in the future, because I think us obviously getting rid of him now wouldn't solve a lot of problems in the football club. But obviously, in some of the games this season, some of the bad results and poor performances this season, definitely Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is being accountable for that. So some of the blame does definitely stem from him. And obviously, some of the blame does stem from the players. But, to be fair, recently, we have rejuvenated ourselves, and I've been very, very happy about it. I think in the last 6 games or so, I've seen a variety of changes. Disregarding the 1-0 defeat to Bournemouth, we've done really, really well in the last, since the Liverpool game, apart from the Bournemouth defeat, we have done really, really well. So the changes I've seen, like I've just mentioned, I think, we've shown a lot of tactical flexibility, because, we have shown a lot of tactical flexibility, because as you all know, for the vast majority of this season, me and a lot of other Manchester United fans have obviously been criticising Solskjaer, because he's been tactically naive, some of his substitutions have been questionable, obviously, so we have questioned him for that. But yeah, the good news is we showed a lot of tactical flexibility. Recently, we've been scoring more goals, we've also been creating more chances and analysing it. In the vast majority of our games this season, we have been struggling to create chances, and this is probably the explanation why we haven't been scoring enough goals. I also do believe that, certain players have stepped up to the plate. Like I said, definitely in the last 4 games at least, Rashford has rejuvenated himself. I've been very, very happy with Marcus Rashford, fair play to him. And I do know that he's been very, very disappointing for the vast majority of this season, and obviously hasn't performed to the standards as we should expect from him. But recently has done really, really well as Rashford. He's now, by the way, scored 54 goals for the football club in all competitions. Since he broke into the senior squad back in 2016, but now this is Rashford's 4th season in the senior squad. Rashford overall's been here since the age of 7, so far he's actually spent the entirety of his career with Man United, but Rashford's been superb. Obviously, Anthony Martial has been fantastic, since he recovered from injury. And the good thing is about him, he obviously, adds more inspiration in that attacking third of the pitch. And, Anthony Martial does help the likes of Daniel James and, Marcus Rashford. Martial, is only the age of 23. He's now into his 5th season as a Manchester United player. Some aspects of him, do replicate Rashford. Like I said, they can play in the same position. They've nearly scored the same amount of goals. I think Martial's one behind Rashford. Martial scored 53 goals for the football club in all competitions. But yeah, he's obviously for the majority of his tenure at Man United so far. Obviously, he has been operating out wide, but this season, when he has been playing, he has been playing in that number 9 role. Because obviously now Martial seems to be more effective in that number 9. He does actually seem to be more effective in that number 9 and that. But yeah, he has done really, really well. So fair play to him. Like I said, I think Daniel James has enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. And, like I do keep mentioning, and I've mentioned to you guys on my recent videos, I'm actually surprised with the amount of games that Daniel James has played in this season, to be quite honest with you. Obviously, when he arrived at Man United in the summer, obviously I expected him to play games and that. I did expect him to play games and that, but not as many games to the extent as he has done. So I didn't actually think he'd have been a consistent starter with the first Daniel James. But obviously, reflecting on his good performances, obviously he's been playing on a regular basis. Obviously, he got rested in the 3-0 win against Partizan Belgrade, because obviously Solskjaer's realised that obviously he's been overplaying him. He was obviously concerned about his fatigue at the club, but then obviously played him in the 3-1 win against Brighton. But Daniel James, he's still you can still classify him as a prospect, and obviously he needs more time to develop. He is only 21 years of age. But we only paid around, was it £18 million for him? So it was a very, very cheaper solution. But now I think if he continues his good performances up until the end of this season, then I think his valuation will definitely grow. But fair play to Daniel James. He's done absolutely fantastic. But yeah, so there has been a lot of improvements in the last 6 games. I think our football seems to be superb recently. We seem to be attacking more, which is obviously very, very good. And I've got to say, I think the game against Brighton was the best performance in the Premier League anyway, this season. In that game, we showed a lot of attacking intent. We created a lot of chances. And Solskjaer gave his overarching view on the 3-1 win against Brighton. And he said, it should have actually been more. So we should have won by a greater margin, reflected on the amount of chances, that we had. But yeah, it definitely should have been more than 3-1. But I thought the game actually replicated the game in the Europa League against Partizan Belgrade, because we also did really, really well in that. We also did really, really well in that. But like I said, that win against Brighton, that obviously put us to 7th in the league after 12 games. Obviously, we've won 4 games now in the league so far this season. We've drawn 4 and we've lost 4. So in that aspect, we've registered 16 points from a possible 36. But we still know that's not good enough to our standards, or should I say, nowhere near good enough to our current standards. But there is still plenty of time for Manchester United to turn things around. Because prior to the Brighton game, we were sitting 14th in the league. I do agree that we're not in the commanding position, that we should be in, reflecting on the size and the potential of this club, and reflecting on the amount of money that's been invested into the football club. You could obviously say that we should be at least up there competing for that top 4. And, to be quite honest with you, I fully disregarded that top 4, even though it's still early on in the season, because we're around, 9 points behind top 4 and that. I did say, didn't I, though, at the start of this season, that our expectations this season will be to finish in that top 4. So in that aspect, we can get back into the Champions League. But like I recently mentioned, I think our only route to Champions League football for next season is progressing in the Europa League. And even though, we enjoyed the disastrous start to the season, and we've been mainly inconsistent for the vast majority of this season, I still believe we are good enough to win the Europa League. We are now into the knockout stages of the competition. We've still 2 games remaining, so I'll take that into account. But I think that's our only route to Champions League football. But I think anywhere, our aspirations will be that top four in the next couple of seasons and that, because analysing our squad, it isn't good enough to win the league at the moment. You know, it isn't good enough to even mount any kind of title challenge up. So I don't think we're going to win the league or what for the next 2, 3, maybe even 4 years. It's just basically dependent on how we do in the next couple of windows, you know, with our transfer business and that. And, you know, if we can get them variety of change at the club as well, like I mentioned, then that's obviously, you know, that's turning a corner. But I did say, didn't I, at the start of this season that, you know, I didn't expect us, you know, to win the league this season. You know, I didn't obviously expect us to, you know, challenge for the league, despite, you know, the 3 signings there that we recommended me. But one thing I did say at the start of this season that I did expect us to enjoy a better season this season than what we saw last season, because obviously, you know, last season was a huge disappointment. Obviously, you know, we've still got quite a lot of injuries, and obviously, you know, reflecting on the amount of injuries, you know, we've had this season. Solskjaer, obviously, you know, has had to make a lot of alterations in the squad. Obviously, he's tried a few different elements anyway. You know, he's tried, you know, playing different players. Obviously, he's tried different formations. Don't forget, we know for the vast majority this season anyway, Solskjaer has obviously, you know, been going out with that 4-2-3-1 formation. But on a couple of occasions, you know, he has, you know, gone with a 3-4-1-2, or he's gone with a 3-5-2. As Solskjaer. But Solskjaer did, you know, reveal that more players are expected back from injury after the international break. So I think he did reveal that Nemanja Matic, you know, Tuanzebe and Luke Shaw are all expected back for the Sheffield United game. Like I said, Matic has been out with a minor problem. Luke Shaw has been out with a hamstring problem. He hasn't played since the 2-1 home defeat to Crystal Palace. And Tuanzebe has been out with a hip injury. Obviously, you know, recently give you the news, didn't I, regarding Scott McTominay. Obviously, you know, as it confirmed that he had to pull out, he had to withdraw from the Scotland squad due to his ankle injury. His ankle injury is actually, you know, more severe than we actually, you know, first feared. You know, Scott McTominay initially sustained the injury in the 3-0 win against Partizan Belgrade, but limped off in the 3-1 win against Brighton. And some reports indicate out saying that he could be out for a month. I think it's almost assured, or is assured, that he will miss the games against Tottenham and Man City, I think next month. But I think he's had initial scans on his ankle, you know, to see the extent of the injury, and I think it's actually now quite severe. So, but McTominay, you know, is going to be a big miss, because McTominay has been, you know, a regular starter this season for us, and you know, he has deserved to keep his place in the team. You know, reflecting on his impressive performances. You know, McTominay, he's only 22 years of age. You know, he's been in the senior squad since May 2017, and he has done really, really well, to be fair. You know, in regards to him being a long-term solution for Man United, you know, I have got element of concerns about that. But, you know, I think he's definitely deserved to keep his place in the team as McTominay. But, yeah, so he's definitely, you know, out, according to reports, for a month. Obviously, I gave you the news, didn't I, regarding Paul Pogba earlier on this week. Obviously, he had travelled to Amsterdam to have his ankle cast removed, did Paul Pogba. To have his ankle cast removed, so that indicates out now that he's closer to recovering from injury. Paul Pogba, you know, has missed the vast majority of the games this season with this ongoing ankle injury that's been surrounding the player for a matter of weeks. The last game Paul Pogba played in the league was the 1-1 draw with Arsenal, but you could arguably say that he has been a big miss in that midfield. Solskjaer did say, you know, there was a slight chance that, you know, he could be back for the Sheffield United game after the international break, but I'm very, very sceptical about it, so I don't see it happening. So Solskjaer did confirm that Paul Pogba is not expected back until December. But to be fair, I think the likes of Fred and McTominay, you know, they've hit the ground running in that midfield. Solskjaer did confirm anywhere that, you know, Fred will take Paul Pogba's position for a while and that. So basically, he's relying on Fred. But recently, I've got to credit Fred because I think his performances have been really, really good. Solskjaer praised him, for the performance he did put out against Brighton because he was the man of the match against Brighton, was Fred. He was the man of the match. Fred, obviously, like I updated you yesterday, Fred admitted that, Solskjaer's backing is behind his improved form at Man United. And he said the trust of the manager is very, very important. And he says, he does feel this. But Fred's been... But he has done really, really well. So fair play to him. Again, same perception on Fred. I've got to admit some way. I don't know if he's the long-term solution for Man United and that. Maybe still some aspects of his game that I need to improve, like I mentioned, Fred. I do agree on the aspect that the club overpaid for him because we paid just under £50 million, was it, for him last summer from Shakhtar Donetsk, and he hasn't obviously mainly replicated at Man United. What he did do with Shakhtar Donetsk, because actually he was an exceptional player for Shakhtar Donetsk. But yeah, he's done really, really well, to be fair to him. I think obviously Fosu Mensah's still out of injury, isn't he? Eric Bay's still out until the end of the year. So we have still got quite a lot of injuries in that. So yeah, take that into account. But there's some aspects of me, that do credit Mulligan and Solskjaer, like I mentioned, and that, he's got a lot of trustworthy in his young upcoming players. Because the vast majority of the young upcoming players have been given their chances this season. Don't get me wrong, I've got some element of concerns about some of the young upcoming players, and this is why I did mention, didn't I, that next year it would be beneficial for us to get rid of some of them, or maybe loan some of them out. But I can definitely assure that Mason Greenwood, Tuanzebe, Brandon Williams and James Garner, I can definitely assure they'll all become successes at the football club. That's obviously from my own perception. Mason Greenwood obviously has not yet started again from the start in the Premier League this season, so these question marks around that and regarding Solskjaer. But I think he needs to play more regularly. Does Mason Greenwood? I think he scored now 3 senior goals for the football club, but fair play to him. He has done really, really well, but needs to start again from the start in the Premier League. Solskjaer still realises that Mason Green was still, a prospect and he's developing, and he's still learning the men's game and that. And obviously, he recently compared him to Robin van Persie. Obviously, he believes they're finishing. His finishing is similar in that, but Mason Greenwood is only 18 years of age. 18 years of age, so still got a lot of years ahead of him. But yeah, I think by the time he's 23, 24, I think he will be a world-class centre-forward for Man United. Like I said regarding Brandon Williams, he's been absolutely immense. Absolutely immense in that. And I did say if he was to keep the consistency up, it would morph his team promotions, and that's exactly what's happened. Brandon Williams was fantastic on his full Premier League debut against Brighton. Another good performance from him. And you can say that left back has been confirmed. I think now, a lot of Man United fans, including me, do believe that Brandon Williams is a better solution than Luke Shaw. He's also a much better solution than Ashley Young. But yeah, fair play to Brandon Williams, and it wasn't too long ago he signed a new contract. So fair play to him. And James Garner, I don't really have a perception on him at the moment because he hasn't really played enough games for me to have a perception on him, like I've mentioned on my recent videos. But in the games he has played, and I think he's been absolutely tremendous as James Garner. He made his full debut for the football club in the 1-0 win against Partizan Belgrade. Andres Pereira, I'd still give him more time at the club. I think he's had a few bad games this season, but he's also had a good couple of games. Pereira's actually played quite a lot of games this season. He has been operating in that playmaker's role. Angel Gomez, maybe he's probably one of the players that we need to consider, getting rid of. I think he's been out of injury recently, didn't he? Sustain some kind of knock. So yeah, there is a lot of young players in the squad that are developing and trying to improve. Don't forget, Diego Dalot, he's still out of injury, I think, as well. He's actually sustained quite a few injuries, this season. But I do believe, when he does regain full fitness, he will obviously get more opportunities. Will Diego Dalot, even though he is one of our backup options in that right back position. But yeah, so there's a lot of young players in the squad that are developing and trying to improve and that. I still believe there's also more players that do need to leave Manchester United. Like I've said on my recent videos, I think we need to get rid of at least 4 or 5 more players next year. Because I still believe there's players here that are no longer, good enough to represent the football club. So like I've mentioned to you guys on my recent videos, I think, Young's not good enough. Young's obviously now past his sell-by date. He is 34 years of age. He is 35 next year. And, obviously Ash Young's no longer first choice. He actually was our first choice right back last season. Obviously, before the arrival of Van Wan-Bissaka in the summer. But, there's question marks regarding Solskjaer there. Why is he playing Ashley Young on a regular basis? He shouldn't be playing him at all. I know Young didn't play in the game against Brighton because obviously he was suspended. It was also a bad mistake from the football club last season, giving him that new 1-year extension. We should have never done that. But Young has been here since the Ferguson era. He's now into his 9th season as a Manchester United player. So he has been here 8 years. Analyse it, you can say he's maybe had 2 or 3 good years out of the 8 years he's been here, if that. So mainly has been very, very inconsistent. Phil Jones Phil Jones definitely another one of the problematic players. I think we also need to consider, getting rid of him next year. Another bad mistake from the football club last season. Obviously, giving Phil Jones a new long-term contract. Like I did say though, Jones' appearances are limited in the Premier League anywhere. Especially because Solskjaer's first choice centre backs Mark Lindelof and Harry Maguire. But like I mentioned, Jones will get his chance in like the Europa League and the Carabao Cup and that. But in the league, he won't really get many chances. Jones is now into his 9th season, by the way, as a Manchester United player. So he's been here more or less the same amount of time as Ashley Young. Rojo, I think Rojo probably will leave in the future, but I think we're orchestrating on keeping him at least until the end of this season. I think we're orchestrating him on keeping him or maybe keeping him for another year. Because Solskjaer recently revealed the reason why he wants to keep Marcus Rojo. So basically, he's preventing him from leaving in January. Was subjected to intense speculation during the course of the summer as Rojo. Obviously there was a few teams in for him. Obviously, Everton were also in for him. Everton could possibly, reignite their interest next year. But I think we're reluctant to sell him in January. Rojo obviously is another player that's. He's a player that's obviously not first choice at Man United. His appearances are definitely limited, especially in the Premier League. But he's predominantly a centre-back, but he can also play as a full-back and a wing-back. So his versatility is very, very good because he can play in various positions in that back line. And I think Rojo is around 29 years of age, still got just under 2 years left on his contract. And I think he's now into his 5th season as a Manchester United player, is Rojo. So maybe he's another one of the players that needs to go. Nemanja Matic, definitely, one of the problematic players. We definitely need to consider, getting rid of him. And I think any of our midfield options at the moment are much better solutions than Matic. Saying that, Matic has initially lost his place in the team. Mainly due to his inconsistency. And I've just got so many element of concerns about him. He's too slow. makes that midfield look totally imbalanced, too easily predictable. Maybe, we have seen glimpses in the odd game here and there where he can perform well, but prior to that, he's been mainly inconsistent. And I will agree on the aspect, we definitely overpaid for him. We paid just around £40 million from Chelsea back in 2017. But yeah, he has been mainly inconsistent. We could lose him on a free transfer at the end of the season because that's when his current contract expires. We do have an option to extend his contract by a further year. So yeah, he definitely needs to go. Some people are saying Jesse Lingard needs to be moved on, due to his inconsistency, because Lingard has been very, very poor, very poor. This season especially. I said, reflecting on his status and, the amount of time he's been at the football club, he should be putting much more better performances out. So I have been very, very disappointed with him. Like I said, I think another 4 or 5 more players do need to leave. I obviously give you the news recently as well, didn't I, regarding Chong. Now, I think he's another one of the players that's going to leave Manchester United. I think probably more than likely at the end of the season than in January. I was reading reports about it, and it said that Juventus are interested in getting Chong on a free transfer at the end of the season. This is what it had basically said. Because Chong's current contract does expire at the end of the season. And according to reports, Chong has decided not to renew his contract with Man United, and has allegedly informed the club that he will be leaving at the end of the season. Chong's obviously, only played on like 4 occasions for Man United. He's only played a few games this season, but I've got to be honest, I have got element of concerns about him. So if we could get rid of him, I think, it would be very, very beneficial. Chong obviously, broke into the senior squad last season. He's made his competitive debut in the FA Cup against Reading. He made his Premier League debut against Southampton, and he made his Champions League debut against PSG last season. But so it's looking, according to reports, looking likely he's going to be leaving at the end of the season. But as you all know anyway, we have enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season for over 30 years. So like I mentioned, last time we had as bad a start to a season as this. I think it was actually, back under the Ron Atkinson era. So this was obviously, before the Alex Ferguson era. And even though that's secured though, obviously, Solskjaer's perceptions haven't changed about himself. He still insists he's the right manager to elevate Man United forward. Obviously, Ed Woodward, replicating Solskjaer in that aspect, because Ed Woodward, has assured that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job is safe, at least for now. Obviously Solskjaer has got on a 3-year contract with the football club. He's got a 3-year contract with the football club. He had been given this when he got the job permanently back in March. I think he'll definitely be here, Solskjaer, until the end of the season. Definitely still here till the end of the season. So I think we'll at least give him a year. We'll give him a couple of windows, to see who else he can recommend to the football club. But I can almost assure that, he will not see out his 3-year contract with Manchester United. Like I said, my perceptions are still the same regarding Solskjaer. Maybe my perceptions will start to change if we can, keep this good run of form up until the new year, or, until the end of the season. Then I might start believing he's the right man to turn Man United around. And, he believes that, we are heading into the right direction. This is what, Solskjaer, does believe. But, he's only been here overall, for around, he's only been here overall now for around 12 months, 11 months, at Solskjaer. So he has been at the football club just under a year. He has been permanent manager for around 8 months. And obviously for the vast majority of that 8 months, it has been very, very poor. Totally comparison to what I saw when he was the interim manager in that 3-month period. But, like I said, Solskjaer was a great player for the club for 11 years, and he has got that proven pedigree as a player. It's totally comparison to him as a manager, because he hasn't really got that managerial experience, and that's another element of concern I have got about him. But that doesn't mean, he can't, succeed at Manchester United, Solskjaer. And, I think the two reasons, we recommended him in anywhere after the sacking of Jose Mourinho in December of last year was obviously because we knew that, he's a club legend, he knows the traditions of the club, plus he was a cheaper solution, we didn't really have to pay a lot, to recommend him in. So these are the couple of reasons why, we went with Solskjaer. These are the couple of reasons, but yeah, so Solskjaer will definitely still be here at the end of the season, but the board assured at the start of this season anyway, regardless of the outcome this season, that Solskjaer's job will be safe, because the board realised that they didn't back him enough during the course of the summer anyway. And like I said, we're not really known for sacking a football club, despite the fact that, we've sacked 3 managers already since the Ferguson era. Obviously, David Moyes got sacked after 10 months. He got sacked after 10 months. He had a really short tenure with the football club. That was one mistake Man United made. And I said, we made several mistakes in the last 6 or 7 years. And that was one of them. And that was the only mistake Ferguson made, was recommending David Moyes in. And then obviously after Moyes left, Van Gaal came in. He left. He got sacked after just a year, was it? Despite the fact he won the FA Cup with us. And obviously, we recommended Jose Mourinho in. And obviously, Jose Mourinho enjoyed a 2.5-year tenure at the club. I already give you the variety of reasons why it didn't work out under the Jose Mourinho era. But he won the Europa League and League Cup in his first season with Man United. But yeah, so I said really, we haven't got the structure to keep sacking managers. We haven't got the structure to keep sacking managers. But recently Mike Phelan came out and he said that Solskjaer is following Sir Matt Busby's philosophy at the club. So Solskjaer was actually very adamant he was following Ferguson's philosophy at the club. And I did say, didn't I, anyway, I took into account that, regardless of who our manager is, we'll never replicate what we did under Ferguson. I can definitely assure that Solskjaer can't invoke Ferguson's legacy at Manchester United. The question is, are we going to ever be the team that we was under Alex Ferguson? Obviously, if we are to be, it's going to take a lot of years. But look, under Ferguson, we control the transfer policies, we control a lot of the contracts. He developed a lot of young players. And I think Solskjaer replicates him in that aspect, because obviously Solskjaer, obviously wants to recruit more players at the football club. Obviously, the vast majority of our silverware we won obviously came under Ferguson, because I think in total we won 38 major honours under Alex Ferguson. Yes, we did, and but taking into account, Ferguson didn't win out in his first 4 years at Manchester United. When we recommended him in from Aberdeen back in 1984, was it, or 1985? But we're no longer under the Ferguson era. We haven't been under the Ferguson era for almost 7 years now. But we have been a toxic football club, for the last 6 or 7 years. I don't like the way the football club's been run in the last 6 or 7 years. When the mistakes were made in the last 6 or 7 years, that's probably that's a factor there. That could be a factor there why we've been inconsistent. Yeah. But like I said, I hope we can get Jadon Sancho next year, like I said at the beginning of the video, because I think, he will dramatically improve Man United a lot. And hopefully, our transfer business can, improve in that. I do know there's been a list of managers on our agenda, who could replace Solskjaer and that. Like I said, I've already given you an update, and but I'm actually agreeing that. I think there was about 3 managers on our agenda, who could have replaced him, but Solskjaer, I don't think is under that much pressure now. I think the pressure has eased off him, reflecting on our recent performances and results. But before the Liverpool game, he was under so much intense pressure. So you could arguably say maybe the last 6 games have saved Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's managerial tenure at the football club. But yeah. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribing as always. And take care, God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching, guys.